Nameplate, Nigeria records 1.2 trillion naira surplus as foreign trade hits 52.38 trillion naira in 2022. Election postponement, voters, parties express mixed reactions. That's also there for you to look at. Shippers Council, FAN, others score low on ease of doing business compliance. Page 20 is where you find details. I imagine that in the coming days, we might get a response from the Shippers Council and perhaps FAN as well, because that certainly is not a flattering story on the state of shipping and aviation in Nigeria. Let's leave it there for Daily Trust newspapers.
And flip to This Nigeria. This Nigeria also focuses on, our first story that we commenced the program with today, and that's the train bus collision in Lagos yesterday. Look at the big story. 6 die, 79 injured in Ikeja train mishap. Lagos declares 3-day mourning, calls for blood donation to victims. Speaking of which, if you're around that area, but particularly the Lasuth area in Ikeja, you can just, make an effort to make life easier for those who have been injured by donating blood. It will be very welcome at this time. Sanwo-Olu, Jandor, Rhodes Viva visit scene. Buhari sympathizes with victims as Safety Bureau commences investigation. You'll find all those details inside page 4 of This Nigeria. And of course, you can see the aerial view of that very, very tragic derailment yesterday. The picture speaks volumes. Okay, away from that big story now, let's move to other stories. This one just underneath the big story. Troops recover over 10 million naira from bandits, collaborators, as 1,332 terrorists surrender. Find details on page 7. Nigeria's external reserves hit lowest level in 12 months. What's the figure now? The last time we checked was hovering somewhere around $36 billion, but you find details on page 17. And right at the bottom strip, look at this one. It's a caution to INEC: don't repeat February 25 episode in governorship assembly elections. APC urges INEC. We no longer have confidence in commission. That's ascribed to the Labour Party. That's on page 5. Let's leave it there now for This Nigeria.
Well, Vanguard leads with this shift in state and the State Assembly and Guber polls. APC, Labour Party, IPAC, others disagree. INEC has eroded our confidence. That's from Labour Party. It says this INEC can no longer be trusted. And you see, we respect INEC's decision. APC, excuses no longer acceptable. IPAC cautions INEC. Postponement inevitable. So, it's expected, really, that parties will disagree, perhaps, because in the build-up to the elections, anyway, they had disagreed on, policies, candidacy or candidature of their flag bearers and all of that. So, it's just a continuation. Page 5 has more details for you. And just to pay attention on some other issues that seem to be flying below the radar, but it's the elephant in the room. On top of the big Vanguard logo, you see old notes: cash crunch worsens as Nigerians wait on Buhari. For the record, it's exactly 7 days after that Supreme Court judgment. It was last week Friday, and the president or the CBN have not spoken to that. So is it taken that, well, this is how it will continue to be? Well, we find more details on the inside pages, but the case for Nigerians is still the same. Lots of people don't have access to cash. They have to walk distances. They will have actually taken public transport. And it goes on and on. There's Mr. and Mrs. for you, just something to light up your day on the front page as well. But I'll take this one on a final note. IREV glitches didn't deter beavers. INEC insists. So again, INEC is doubling down on that position. I'm not sure the IREV has been fully populated just yet. I'll check. But as at last time, it was just over 90%. I'll leave it there for Vanguard newspaper for you.
Well, take a look at the Guardian newspaper next. Poll shifts may cost Nigeria more than $2.23 billion suffered in 2019. Okay, trying to understand that. I know a lot of people may feel the same way. That's a lot of money. $2.23 billion suffered in 2019. Postponement compounds Naira fuel scarcity woes. SBM. So this is, well, unfortunately, the way things play out here. And then, why Buhari is quiet over allegations of irregularities against INEC. I think people would like to know that. They want to find out why. March 18 polls, excuses no longer acceptable. IPAC cautions INEC. Aburi, INEC has eroded our confidence. Protect integrity of data from BVAS, APC tells INEC. INEC kicks as court orders commission to allow 2 Nigerians vote without PVCs. And lots of things going on, even in several other quarters about the Naira, the old Naira. Several people still coming up with the narrative that they're still being rejected in some quarters, and you still wonder, why should that even be the case after the court has ruled on that matter? One does never cease, isn't it? Despite reported positive trend, palm oil industry still struggling. So raises more questions now. And then several other pieces here. Oh, look at this. Who would have thought? 1 week after, that's 1 week after Supreme Court's ruling, CBN's silence stokes confusion. You see that at the bottom strip right there. So that's part of what I even highlighted about some quarters, where people say, look, they're not accepting the currency. Maybe we'll ask lawyers now what the implication of this is, and what can be done to ensure that the law is enforced. So it's a question of enforcement now, isn't it? So that is the Guardian this morning.
I'm looking at leadership newspapers for you this morning, and they have this Leadership Friday. For a moment now, I don't know, it just disappeared. Trying to see if I can quickly call it up again. Yes, I found it. It says post-postponement, governors re-strategize, woo voters with jobs, promotions. That's...
Oh, dear.
I'm just...
Okay, bring it on.
Is this vote buying? Well, this counts as vote buying. I don't know how this works.
Oh, wow.
Governors re-strategize, woo voters with jobs, promotions. I don't know.
Are you giving them employment letters already?
If this works, I mean, assuming the people vote, I mean, if they go and vote because they got this, I don't know whether that will count as vote buying. If it doesn't, I mean, but there's no guarantee that it will work. Because if you had this job to give all along and you didn't give it, you withheld it, why should anybody reward you for giving them a job?
You're giving them this job under what?
Under duress.
Oh, boy. Did they even go through due process? What kind of jobs are they even offering?
I don't know. You want to read the story on page 4 of the paper. But look at this. Tough race expected in Lagos, Delta, Kano, Kaduna, Gombe, Nasarawa, Katsina. Okay? Remarkable states there, and you'll know why, because those states, well, I don't know, just take a look at page 4. You'll get the reason why from page 4. But I think most people who have been following the elections might be able to hazard a guess as to why these states have been listed as battleground states. We expect INEC's decision to postpone polls. We respect INEC's decision to postpone polls as attributed to the APC. Gbajabiamila tops list of contenders for Tinubu's chief of staff. So that is also right there. But he is a member of the House of Representatives. How's that going to work? Crisis in IPOB camp. Kanu seeks to replace senior lawyer. It's on page 9 of the paper. And they also have the story, 6 die in Lagos train accident. Sanwo-Olu declares 3 days of mourning. Woman jailed 24 years for $298,000, 48 million naira property fraud. So that story is also on the front page for you. We'll leave it there for Leadership Friday.
and turn our attention to News Direct. The Nigerian News Direct this morning, as always, has a potpourri of stories for you. Let's begin with the lead story. Alleged electoral fraud. Presidency breaks silence, justifies Tinubu's victory. Let's take a look at the riders. Says no going back on outcome. No case of annulment. June 12, 1993 won't repeat itself. Says allegations against INEC vile, unsubstantiated, as court orders commission to allow use of temporary voter cards for forthcoming election. Afenifere joins knocks on INEC, says Obi won election. Well, let's leave that for the courts to decide, and the court has begun the process for its decision already. Just a few more before we exit. NCC spotlights renewable energy on World Consumer Rights Day. And let's leave it there now for the Nigerian News Director. And I believe that ends our newspaper review segment for this morning. And there's so much more to unfold for you, but that will be after the break. Stay with us.
All right, well, yes, indeed, Buki. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.